Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Mad Hatter Media channel. My name is Clay, and if this is the first time you're here, then welcome, and if not, then welcome back. This is going to be my impressions video on the Google Pixel 6. Just the 6, not the Pro. I bought the regular 6 because I personally prefer a flat screen. But hey, that's just me. That's just my decision. I'm very happy with it. I love this phone. It has some quirks. Software is getting tightened up on it. It's becoming a better and better experience day after day. And don't get me wrong, it was rough at first, but this thing software wise is a lot better than it was at launch. In fact, there's a number of things that I'm gonna be honest were not acceptable to me at a flagship or mid-tier price point for a smartphone, and this thing was doing. However, they've all been eliminated, so I'm very happy to report that. Battery life has turned out to be excellent. Processing unit is an excellent performer. When I first bought this phone, I thought that Google was kind of blowing smoke and hopping on the in-house silicon train like Apple did and threw together a chip as soon as they could and then marketed it heavily. At least that's what it seemed like to me for a while, but I can see now that the Google Tensor chip is actually the real deal. It is actually a very good performer, period. That's at the flagship level, not even taking into account the price point that these phones come in at. Again, $599 plus tax US. I consider that mid-tier, like, you know, mid-high tier, but closer to mid-tier, really. So price-wise, you're getting a full flagship in this guy. Everything. Phenomenal camera system, battery, AMOLED panel, 90 hertz, the Google Tensor chip, charged at 30 watts. This thing is a complete bundle, and now that Google has tightened up the software on this phone, it's finally all in all a great phone. Because again, when this phone dropped and started out, it was rough. It was rough for a while. I was still expecting a little bit more out of the camera system from Google, but it's still good. And the other really noticeable thing that I personally noticed, my Pixel 5 did this also. When I would unlock the phone, I'll see if I can show you guys this, and you can notice it. So when I unlock the phone, boom, it gets brighter. I'm sure you guys can see that. So you go ahead and unlock it, and it unlocks and then bumps up the brightness. Now, I don't know if it just wasn't in an early part of the software or if it was supposed to be there and it was a bug, but what I experienced when I had just got this phone brand new is it would unlock and then not bump up the brightness. So at that point, I'm looking at, you know, the screen that really wasn't bright enough, and that was a serious problem. But thankfully they fixed it, whether it was a bug or they just had to re-enable it via software, whichever. It's good that they fixed it because now it's not just adequate, it's more than adequate. So that bug being remedied, along with the other various software and performance glitches and hiccups that were just happening way too often, this thing has become a great phone. Yeah, it's an unusual design for the phone, but it's Google, and if you're familiar with Pixel lineage at all, you're gonna know to expect something like this from them. I think the Pixel 5 and 4 series were probably the most normal that it was gonna get. This isn't a phone designed to conform to just a usual smartphone experience. I mean, I'm sure you guys can probably already tell that by the camera bar. I call it a bar, not a visor. You can call it whatever you want, but yeah, it's just clearly a phone where Google is unapologetically Google, and that's okay. When I bought this phone, I thought it was going to be like a Note-like experience, like a Galaxy Note-like experience, and it just wasn't. It's not. It doesn't feel like that. However, it does feel like something totally new. I can just call it, I kind of just have to call it a Pixel 6 feel or a Pixel 6 experience, and that's really like the only good way to describe it. Even though it's got the kind of more squared off design, it still just doesn't look or feel like a Note to me. While we're on the topic of body and design, you guys probably already noticed the chin, which I mean really still isn't much of a chin, and the forehead, or just the bezels overall, are probably a little bit thicker than what a lot of you guys thought they were going to be, including me. But again, considering that this is a $600 package where you basically get everything else as a flagship level tier of performance and the experience and everything, then it becomes important to remind yourself, oh yeah, I forgot this is a $600 phone. I can't expect it to have almost no bezels like an S22 or an iPhone. But that's just an objective thing. I think it looks all right. It's very good, easy and enjoyable to hold in the hand. So positive review there. And so yeah, next I'll talk about the camera system overall and then go over some of the new Pixel software features. The camera system, realistically, I'm not gonna say it disappointed me. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be, and I really can't say it was even kind of close to what I was expecting. With the Sony image sensor that they used in the Pixels 2 through 5, that thing really pushed the envelope and kind of had a really good thing, not broke, don't fix it type of situation going on. But with this new camera system in here, and with the main sensor being, I believe, a 50 megapixel main standard wide sensor, I was expecting more, even though, if you guys didn't already know, a lot of the time the end result or end product as far as the photograph that you get or the picture you take out of this thing ends up as a 12 megapixel image or file. Regardless, they mislead people when it comes to advertised megapixels in phone camera systems. I personally don't like that, but what are you gonna do? Kind of a little thing that I noticed is they put, instead of a Sony image sensor in here, it's a Samsung camera sensor. And I knew I wasn't gonna like that, and I didn't like that. Let me explain real quick. Samsung's photo game is significantly better now than it was just 1 and especially to 2 years ago. And I personally felt like the big thing that was holding them back at the time was Samsung's image sensor and image processing technology. Whereas opposed to on this side of the field where you have Google with their computational photography software, you would think they basically have all of Google images at their disposal as far as how to make an image look good, and they did. However, I would argue that this phone takes not as good of pictures as my Pixel 5, and my Pixel 5 also takes worse pictures than it did before Android 12. So I don't know what happened there. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I've taken a lot of pictures with that phone and even this phone already. The night sight system is still amazing. Astrophotography kicks butt. It's still an amazing camera system. But I don't like the fact that they stuck a Samsung image sensor for the cameras in here. I just liked what they were doing already better. So with that being said, as far as my hierarchy on the smartphone photo game right now in 2022, iPhone, Samsung's, Google Pixels. So not that long ago, this was the king of the hill when it came to smartphone photos, period. It was basically a non-negotiable known fact. But now, that's very much changed. The camera system on the new iPhones is straight up amazing, and Samsung has also been doing a very good job with it lately too. So even though I'm personally, as an enthusiast, underwhelmed by everything that I just said and told you guys, make no mistake, this is still an incredible camera system, let alone without even considering that it's a $600 price point for this phone and package. What you can get with under $1,000 now is just flat out amazing, and I love it. Now, if you guys already have a Pixel 6 or you're thinking about getting a Pixel 6 or a Pixel 6 Pro, you probably already know or may not know, but the Achilles heel pretty much, or the worst feature of this phone, is the optical fingerprint sensor. It's very bad by comparison. I would say it barely gets a pass as far as usability, which is not good. So yeah, it works, but even when it does, usually it'll take way too long, it'll hesitate. And you know, I know that Samsung has been using the ultrasonic technology in their fingerprint sensors. However, there's also other really great optical fingerprint systems that work far better than this. So far this has gone from not acceptable to barely acceptable from software patches and updates, but it's still by far the weakest link when it comes to the phone. But here's the thing, guys, let's be realistic. You don't have to use the optical fingerprint sensor. A lot of people can and will just use the pin, and that's totally sufficient for a lot of people. I think a lot of people forget that. So with that being said, yeah, it's not good. However, I do really enjoy, you know, the animations and the new software now. You can probably see there's almost like a little glowing, well, I hope I'll be able to show it, but it kind of is like a little glowing animation. I'll see if I can extend it. But the green ring around it kind of almost does like this moving particle type of thing, and it's pretty cool. And then you guys already saw, I'm sure, when you unlock it from the unlock point being the fingerprint sensor, it makes the animation kind of waving outward. And then same thing when you lock it, it'll move from one side to the other. Same if I undo it. So whatever point that you physically touch the phone on, it kind of animates from there outwards. And it's a really cool feature. It's a super cool feature. So, you know, there's a lot of things like that that I really enjoy. Not only that, I still love and enjoy using the Material You theming. It's awesome. See that little animation there? It's clean, right? So guys, that's pretty much the entirety of my thoughts on this phone and everything I've experienced with it up until now so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it somewhat insightful. If you guys have any comments or anything to add to it, feel free to comment down below. I would love to answer a few of your guys' questions. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.